What's up, guys? We're only 24 days out now. It's the Real Smooth Cheesy, keeping it on it. And today I wanted to follow this trend I was doing of talking about characters we haven't seen yet, that are, playable characters. And I actually want to talk about Baiken. Baiken's the most interesting one, and the one that we probably predicted easily for, seeing in this story mode too. Just because her and Delilah are actually name dropped in the story mode. Anji, like when they're looking at Happy Chaos, finally get a glimpse of him. They're like, oh, that's the target of Baiken and Delilah's ire, which, means hate. So again, it was pretty easy to tell, for at least for me, that like, oh yeah, we're definitely gonna, if we're not gonna get them in season 1, we're probably gonna get them in season 2 after we see this, story mode 2. But hey, we got Baiken now, and we'll definitely probably get to see and learn more about Delilah, right? So it is really exciting. And the first kind of thing that's interesting, right, is like, how did Baiken and Delilah actually meet up, right? Because Baiken, like, we first see Delilah, like, when Bedman dies, right? He performs a miracle, we don't know the full extent to that, all that good stuff, but she's at, like, the battlefield with, like, Venom, and Robokai, and Zato, Milia, Slayer, Gabriel, Potemkin, Chip. I mean, maybe Chip was the one who found her and brought her back, but Baiken was, like, not there. She was in the colonies protecting, like, the key tree to make sure that, none of their people were gonna blow up from information overload, right? But it's, how did they get connected? Is going to be an interesting question, because I guess the most likely answer is like Chip found her and then brought her to Baiken, and Baiken kind of hit it off, and it makes a lot of sense why they actually are very, similar, that they're good friends. It's because, again, Baiken and Delilah are very similar backstories, so I'm really excited to see their connections, their friendship. It really seems like almost, Baiken's almost treating her like a big sister, or like a mother almost, so it's been great. But when you look at their backstories, right, both of their families and friends were all taken by, Happy Chaos, that man, the original, and, they hated him for it, right? And we kind of see that through Delilah, Baiken's finally been able to, like, gain enlightenment, right? Because, well, like, in the arcade, right, she, like, talks about, like, all the time, like, Anji even points out, like, you're way less scarier. She's like, I just feel enlightened, I feel happier, like, I'm at peace with myself. And it's because I've been living with that girl. And since they share such similar backstories, and I honestly believe that, like, Delilah's gonna be, like, hate-fueled, pissed at Happy Chaos, just like Baiken was so many years ago. And finally getting to, like, see what she is, and, like, how she's been acting, and, like, why she let something like this get to her and, like, hold her back in life. See that in another person, it probably just finally made her realize, like, damn, like, this isn't worth it, Like, this is who I used to be, but now I'm gonna, like, improve and better myself. And right next to Faust, actually, she's probably the most changed person, or, like, character in the current roster from Zerd to, Strive. And while Faust we don't know, and you might be like, oh, well, Baiken looks the exact same. She got bigger boobs in those 3 weeks, but no, her personality's, like, completely changed, right? Like I was saying, she's much more peaceful. And again, I think that relationship with Delilah really helped her, and it makes sense that, like, she was able to just change so quickly, just realizing it. Because she even says, like, I just started realizing, it just hit me one day, and now I just want to be better. And to kind of prove that she wants to be better too, she actually has, like, a new sword that's, like, helping other people. And you might be like, oh, how's a sword gonna help people? I mean, it's for killing, right? But her sword's name, her new sword, because she does confirm in the arcade that she has, like, a brand new sword, so again, can't wait to learn more about that. But she says its name is Regret, and it's a really interesting sword because basically it doesn't cut people down. She states, like, it's not for fighting, it can't cut people down, it cuts them free, but it doesn't cut them down. And, like, when she cuts, the only 2 examples that we have so far are from the arcade, because she was with Anji and then she saw Nagoryuki, so it was really interesting because we got to see 2 different. But when she cuts somebody like Anji, who's a very free spirit, who, it's not like he doesn't care about things, but he's not really have anything tying him down, it does, like, nothing to him. He's like, yeah, well, it was kind of fun, when because she's like, oh, what did you see, what did you feel? Yeah, it was kind of fun, it was neat, it was cool. And she's like, yeah, you're a free spirit, it's not gonna do anything to you. But when she asks Nagoryuki the same thing, like, hey, what did you see, what did you feel? Nagoryuki's like, I was, like, all my instincts, everything is, like, fearing you. Like, what did you do? And she's like, it's not me that you fear. It's not your instincts that fear me. They fear yourself. And again, the sword is seen to like, because again, she's saying like, what did you see? What did you feel? It's almost like dreamlike, right? It's almost like she's putting you in like a trance or like a ritual, because she says like, I'm a weak point diviner, because we learned that Nagoryuki's a weak point divider. I was so confused, by the way. I just want to get that out. I was so flipping confused. Like, first and second time I like heard that. It was the third time that I finally realized, because Nagoryuki goes, oh, you're a weak point divider too. And she goes, no, I'm a weak point diviner. And I thought she was saying divider, so I was like, what the hell? But no. But again, Nagoryuki has those like special eyes that let him see people's weak spots. And she instead is like a weak point diviner, and can apparently like not necessarily see, but like show you your own weaknesses and stuff that you have to overcome. And again, it's also stated that like her sword's unbeatable for that reason, because again, you have to overcome and beat yourself before you even can fight her. And she's not even like fighting you, she's become like a wall at this point. And what I mean by that is like, it's so cool, because again, I'm really happy, and it's so like, I saw a tweet the other day that was like, like here, like look at all these Guilty Gear characters, like these females, like people just look at them because they have big boobs. They don't even like notice how great their story is. And Baiken's story is freaking nuts. Like she's developed so much, and now she just wants to like become this wall for other people to like overcome, like an obstacle that they have to come, because that's what she had to do to finally reach enlightenment, right? She had to overcome and realize like, why am I letting this happy chaos, that man guy, ruin and take away a lot from me? Like, yeah, he did all this shitty stuff, but I had to get past that, and now she wants to be that for other people. She wants to be that for Nagoryuki. She probably wants to be that for Delilah. So, it's great. It's great. And again, with Delilah, like, my only two theories with the sword, like, regret, is that it's either one of the outrage components, which would make sense, or, again, Delilah made it. And the reason that I also think it's more likely that Delilah made it just is because, A, she does probably have, like, she has a very similar situation to Bedman, right? Like, dreamlike powers and stuff. So it makes sense that if her sword's, like, putting you in, like, a trance, like, in a kind of, like, divine state, because, like, divination, right? It's like a sacred ritual that kind of, like, can help you see stuff, right? So it makes sense. It's like, literally putting you in, like, in a trance and putting you in this dream, making you realize, like, the demons and the dark side of in yourself that you have to overcome. And since, again, Delilah's tied to, like, dreamlike stuff, adds up. As well as when, in the arcade, she's like, oh, well, Nagoryuki's like, oh, who was your teacher? And she's like, a kid about half my age. And, well, that could also be, like I said, referring earlier to, like, oh, well, she being enlightened. It could also literally be like, yeah, she gave her that sword and she just simply taught her how to use it, right? So just being like, yeah, you cut people, you show them stuff, is what it is, right? But, again, really interesting. Can't wait to learn more about her new sword. It's really like I don't think many people know that she even has a new sword. So again, it's called Regret. That's going to be hype. And I think just, again, seeing her relationship with characters is going to be great. Seeing her growth. Because again, like, every time in her, like, arcade, like, a lot of people are just very scared of her. In, like, Zerd, for example, like, if she even moves, some people, like, flinch and freak out. Whereas, like, Anji's just, like, calm the whole time, so that's great. And she just takes his teasing, like, she doesn't care. So that's great. But again, her relationship as well with, like, Anji, Delilah, because they share very similar backstories, kind of see how, again, is it motherly? Is it like big sister-esque? Is it just like friendship? We'll have to see. I'm excited for that. As well as Nagoryuki, right? Because, I mean, while right next to Testament, actually, she's probably the person that Nagoryuki can relate to and feel comfortable around the most, right? Testament shares a very similar backstory to Nagoryuki, but I mean, Baiken's like a samurai as well, right? So it's probably gonna be easier for Nago to just sit down, open up, and feel comfortable around someone like Baiken. And while I would like to see, again, us get to see Happy Chaos and, Baiken and Delilah confront Happy Chaos this story mode. I feel like we're not gonna see that this story mode. I feel like they're probably gonna do a third story mode where we finally wrap that up, but I do think we're gonna see Nagoryuki, because again, Chip and Anji brought, like, in the arcades, like, pretty much everything, like, Chip and Anji are the ones who kind of took in Nagoryuki for the time, and they want to show, him, like, Baiken, and it's probably because they realize, like, yeah, he's probably gonna feel most comfortable. So again, I do hope we get to see Nagoryuki and her communicate and stuff in the story mode, because again, she would be a really good person for, Nagoryuki to open up to as well. So, and again, it's just really cool because, right, she and Testament are the last two DLCs, and they both are like the people that Nagoryuki can relate to the most. So again, really excited to see her in the story communicate with all these people. Again, just I'm very impressed in, you know, again, her transformation, her character development, because again, it's not like she just became enlightened out of nowhere. No, they literally built up this character, Delilah, who has a similar backstory to her, and it's given her the ability to finally like realize and move on and enlighten and be happy. And now she wants to be that for other people. She's found a purpose. Like I said, she wants to be that weak point diviner and show you your inner demon. And like Nagoryuki said, it's like, you know, may I see you again? She's like, my door is always open. Like, you can come in, you know, you can challenge me whenever you want. I will like help you overcome this hurdle. Because again, she shows you what, you know, like your internal demons, and she can show you pretty much your internal demons as much as you want. So, you know, until you can finally overcome it. So happy to see her. Again, it was pretty expected, but really happy to see that, like, again, she's improved character-wise, development-wise so much. And, you know, again, we get to see her with, like, May and Faust, so that will definitely be interesting as well, kind of see what they're doing, as well as Ram. But, you know, again, I'm definitely just excited to see her and Delilah. Like, she's easily two of my favorite characters in the story. But, you know, like I said, we're only 24 days out. Hope y'all are as hyped for Baiken as, you know, to see her in the story mode as I am. I'll probably try to do, I don't know, I gotta get all these DLC arcade modes done, but I'll probably do her arcade too, because again, like I was stating, new sword, we get to learn something about Delilah, we get to learn something about Nago, so I'll try to get that out of the way too. But yeah, I really appreciate, as always, you guys keeping up with these. I'm loving Baiken, she's fun. Also, you know, she has a new sword, right? So maybe that's why she can't do her, you know, old parry stuff, right? It's not meant for parry, it's meant for enlightening folks. But anyways, like I said, really appreciate y'all keeping up with this. Love y'all a lot, and hey, take care.